This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Clueless Day Trading Frank. It's approximately 9:27 p.m. Always fashionably late, New York style. Um, October 10th, 2019. That is actually a very, very important date on a very historical date for the Chinese culture, from what I read. So, congratulations and happy anniversary on that date, October 10th, today. Full disclosure, this is purely for financial education, not for solicitation or advice. Session will be recorded, uploaded to the Google YouTube channel for viewing by all members and free trial subscribers and everyone else out there who has an internet connection. The bottom line is what we produce out these webinars, which are free, and not just for our members, for everyone out there who wants to understand the realities of the market. Like I always love saying, the real stuff, not the fake stuff, has overall on a 70% of the time, 70 to 80% of the time, has worked out exactly the way it is. It is almost scary. And as I was telling a good friend of mine tonight, I got to start believing my own bullshit. I do well, but I could do better. We are nowhere, none of us are nowhere around peak performance. What is peak performance? Peak performance is when we follow these charts from bottom up to all the way here, or from bottom up to bottom down. But like they say in trading, as long as you are making the meat in, grabbing the meat in the middle, you're fine. But that's not good enough, because these charts are extremely accurate. When I say the market's going to go here, it's going to go here. We're right here, right now. And we went there tonight after President Trump's tweet that he was very happy with the way negotiations were going. But in order to get to where we want to be, which is humanly, it's not possible to be 100% peak performance. Nobody is. Usain Bolt, the fastest sprinter in the world, or Michael Phelps, the fastest swimmer in the world. No one gets to 100% peak performance. We want to get to 80%. I'm running at maybe 60%, and I'm producing the content. So the rest of you need maybe are running at 20 or 30%. Some of you are running higher than me, I'm sure. But let's do it. Let's move our percentages higher by 10 or 20%. That means your ROI percentages on your trades will go up by 20 to 40 to 50%. So instead of selling Netflix too early and not getting into Roku, or not buying Google at the lows, or Apple when every analyst on the street is saying sell, 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 don't listen to the noise. An analyst recommendation from a big shot firm is fantastic. I love it. But you know why I love it? Only if I'm in the stock, in the option. I'm not going to love it after the fact, because the way Wall Street works, and I spent 14 years on Wall Street from 1996 all the way, actually 11 years on Wall Street. What am I saying? 1996, I left in 2010. Yeah, 14 years. I realized one thing, and many of you already do. They'll keep on buying the frigging stock, and then they go ahead and upgrade it. So every other piker, the retail investor, which includes all of us, right? We'll buy it. Yes, we'll make some money off that. But what about getting into it before the fact? What about getting into the market before the boys say, okay, it's safe to go there? Let me remind you guys of one thing, which I know I've done hundreds of times. There is no, is it safe enough to get in? The biggest ultimate aggressive buys, which I've said repeatedly on my previous videos, are in situations like this. And the only way you can detect them, aside from my tweets and this and that, because I want all of you to be independent, not dependent on clueless aid trading, not dependent just the way in life. You don't want to be dependent on whatever state you're in for a welfare check. You don't want to be dependent on the US government to give you some freebies. We're patriots. America was born on risk and grit. It wasn't born on handouts from the Brits, the British. We fought the Brits. We won. That's what the Declaration of Independence comes from. So if you truly want to be independent, and I have the Constitution right in front of me, 2 copies, okay? For God's sake, just use my experience, my charts, all other services that you follow, and do follow all other services, and all these other great people who have great knowledge out there, and just apply them. One of my, I was going to say tenants, no, one of my members, and she's very smart, said, and it had to do with Netflix, said, a question about Netflix is that probably sell Netflix without really understanding the charts. No problem. The problem is you screwed up because Netflix went up a gazillion points, and the calls, the October 11th calls, which were the really high risk calls, were up 700%. The 280 calls that I told people to buy, and I wasn't like going full scale gambling. I said buy the October 11th, October 18th. October 18th is monthly options expiration. Listen carefully. I do believe I speak English, right? Is a bullish week. Not all the way from Monday through Friday, but the bulk of the week going into Thursday is bullish. And given where we are, with all this great Chinese dialogue going on with the US, we could have a phenomenal run-up, which could be a small short-term peak on the market. So the October 280 calls went from 39 cents, let's call it 40 cents, decimal, okay, to $3.10. Do the math. That's 700%. Now, I'm not saying you took your whole net worth and put everything on at 30 and 40 cents, but even if you had it at $1, it went to 3, that's 200%. Now, if you were not focused on the charts, and I know all of you like to say, yes, I do understand the charts and stuff, and okay. Let me be straightforward. You're all lying. You don't. Because if you did, you wouldn't care about the $3, $4 pullback, which ended into a $2 pullback yesterday. Am I right? I know I'm right. So whole part of trading is to really have a lot of discipline. Now, I know what the difficulties are. I go through it. I could have the best chart setup, and then it goes wrong for 2 days. But then it's right over 5 days. And the difficulty is We're going through an enormously volatile situation with the markets. We're dealing with President Trump tweets. We're dealing with Chinese comments, stubborn comments coming out of the Global Times or some Commerce Ministry official. What about last night, which we're going to look at tonight? Look at my Twitter feed. I was up. I'm like, come on, guys. We were down 300 Dow points, 34 S&P handles, futures, E-minis, spoos, as you call them. Okay? Like the world is ending. Then what happens? This happens today. So for God's sakes, you want to learn? I'm just a faster messenger. Just follow the futures market. Go to investing.com. Doesn't cost you a penny. Just look at it. If you want to have the passion to make big money and to leave whatever you're doing that you hate in your job, and you want to basically be a independent trader, well, life ain't that easy. You got to learn. I'm just a learning tool. The real learning comes from the market. And you got to have some passion. Guys who like cars and go from a Honda Civic to a Lamborghini Huracan know everything about cars. And they work the butt out, save their money up. Because none of us are trust fund babies. We don't have Dubai uncles who are like, oh, hi, Frank, how are you? Can I send you another 200,000 for the month? No, I'm not. Maybe some of you are. I wish I was, but then I wouldn't be the same decent guy that I was. I'd basically be a real a-hole. So the point is that gotta push it. I've turned a few people into professional traders. In fact, two of them from years ago. Then they left. I'm like, great. I teach you everything, then you leave. That's okay. I don't need their frigging 80 bucks a month, 70 bucks a month. And I bet your butt that most of them lost their money because they had no idea how to read the markets. Because one of the things that I'll tell you as I'm, changing the screens for Dominic, you can see the screens, right?
I can.
Okay. One of the things I'll tell you, and I'm just sharing a couple of thoughts before we get into some basic stuff, is there's a lot of predictive analytics going on. Now, what does that mean? Let me just be very clean about one thing. There's a lot of great services out there. And this is not a pitch for Clueless A Trading. I don't personally even care if Clueless A Trading blows up. Blows up, not because of me. Like everyone says, okay, I can't handle, the guy's way too smart. He sounds like a frigging intellectual, I don't care. Because my real money comes from trading my own money. That's all that matters to me. The service is a lot of hard work I do to help a lot of other people. And for the administrative costs of running all the technical service and this and that, and a little bit for my time, you guys pay me that monthly fee. So never, ever think that I owe you guys anything. I don't. So let me put it this way. So I scan a lot of things. Sometimes I'm on stock twits when I have time, this and that. And here's the beauty. A lot of great guys out there. All mostly day trading, boom, this and that, fundamental analysis, blah, blah, blah. And by the way, stock tweets is a great service to get a lot of information about a particular company you're in, especially biotechs and small cap companies. But you know what they're missing? Can you guess what they're missing, Dominic? And I'm not just talking stock tweets. I'm talking lots of other big online trading services that have been around for many, many more years than we have been around since April of 2014. So let me just ask you a question. I don't want a right answer, but I want you to guess. What are they missing? Like in between the month or two that you've been with us, Dominic.
The real technical analysis, I think they're missing.
No, there are some great technical analysis guys. I know you have the right answer, you're just not phrasing it well, but I'm going to work you towards it so other people can understand it. One of the biggest powerful forces that I produce, what does the technical analysis produce? I'm going to walk you through the answer. Like when I show this chart and when I write my comments, pattern symmetry, blah, 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 what am I actually saying in simple English?
I don't know.
You do know. I'm telling you what will happen next.
Okay.
Yeah, that is the whole purpose of the predictive analytics. Yes or no? Anyone can tell you how to day trade something for $2. Yes or no?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I'm not choking you on it, you know. So what we do at Clueless A Trading, which I want everyone to understand, is we use not just charts. Anyone can look at a chart, but how you structure it. What is next? What you can expect both on the downside or upside, but most importantly, if you listen to a bunch of my video casts on YouTube, listen to, if you remember, you get to see the real-time chart. I'm always predicting what will happen. That is what makes real money. Anybody can day trade. And there are lots of great guys out there like, oh, you know, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I just got my scan. You know, they scan things like, oh, this thing is moving, get in there. I do it too once in a while, but those are like quick, fast trade. But the real money is made when this happens, when this happens, when this happens. And there, I believe there are very few to no services out there, and I don't care if you believe me or not, guys, okay, who predict what we call predictive analytics. Now, it is very hard for an average trader to have the discipline to hold on when I'm showing a pattern symmetry right here, which is exactly what is happening right here. Remember, you lose more money by selling too early than by holding something that is coming down and then going to go up. I don't need to ask that. I know it. It's happened to me. So I try to kill my bad habits. My question is, do you guys try to kill your bad habits? When this type of stuff happens, when the stochastics are rising and the markets are vacillating, yes, we could be down 100 points during the day. Who the F cares? In my opinion, and the other thing that we do great here at Clueless A Trading, and please, I don't go around asking for compliments. People who know me well, I don't give a frigging whatever. I can't even say it, okay? Online about compliments. Oh, you're great, this and that. No, I'm not great. I could be greater. Many of you are not even like close to the G of great, but some of you are trying. And failure is going to be another pillar that will build on you to be a better trader, including one of our members who probably left Netflix because wasn't really understanding the chart and the markets were screwy and every analyst from from all these big Wall Street firms were downgrading it. So he or she got unnerved. Well, use it as a learning experience. It is not about what an analyst says. It's about the reaction of the stock that matters. Now, what's going to happen on earnings day? I have no idea. But I do believe the stock will follow the trajectory that I showed on Netflix repeatedly. So don't ask me on it right now. Hey, where's Netflix going? Why don't you just spend a few minutes scrolling to my Twitter feed and looking at those precision charts that I've created with a lot of time devoted in middle of my busy trading day. So that's it. The second and the most important thing that we do is we incorporate. I'm going to move out a little bit more. We incorporate fundamental, which is basically company or company statistics, earnings and stuff, and macro global economic theory. That's a big word. That's a big word. That's a Harvard Business School word. Macro global economic theory. I could freaking teach a class on that when it comes to markets. And macro global political theory. Why would President Donald Trump not screw up on what he's doing? Turn on your TV. They're all saying, oh, it's going to be this, it's going to be a crappy deal. What did I say? It's going to be an interim deal. And Bloomberg this morning said the same word. It's going to be an interim deal. It is simply a patchwork. Just way back in 2008, 2009, when the whole world was going to hell in a handbasket and the Federal Reserve was doing what it was supposed to do, the QE, they said, oh, it's the end of the world. No, it's just a patchwork to see how it happens. And as it got better, they improved. And the rest of the world, Democrats and Republicans both said, you're selling out America. In the meantime, we're up 2,000% from 2009. Numbers talk. Traders lie. The media lies. Where are we from 2009? From 666 on the S&P 500. We went to 3,000. And every step of the way, they said the same thing. It's all fiction. It's all garbage. You see the same thing on stock tweets. You see the same thing on other platforms. You can argue with them. Either you believe in America or you don't. As I always like to say. You can wave a small flag, scream and shout. The immigrants are killing us, blah, blah, blah. But the fact is, what makes America great is our economy. Business. That's all you got to focus on. All your political BS, and everyone knows what my leanings lie. I'm a hardcore Republican, fiscal conservative, means nothing. So all I say is, wake up! Okay, that should wake you guys up. All right, so let's move on. Let's put in the S&P 500. Oops, what happened? We can't find the symbol. I gotta do this quick. All right, short term, real simple. This is where we broke down. This is where we're going. And that's a lot of points, ladies and gentlemen. That's about 200 points. Don't want to take the money? Okay, fine. Move to Bulgaria or what's a real socialist country? Oh, North Korea. Don't even move to Russia. They'll kill you. I have a lot of good Russian friends. If you're not a real hardcore scumbag, they'll kill you. 280 to 290. Let's say to 2980. 100 points. What's 100 points? That's 600 points, 800 points on the Dow. Always the number 8. Do you want to grab it? Grab it. We're probably going to rally up to Monday, Tuesday. We're going to have a little turbulence after the Chinese leave because there's going to be conflicting signals, letting you know what's going to happen. The Chinese are going to say, yes, we had a deal, blah, blah, blah. President Trump, just like me, we're big talkers. We like to, mouth off. He's going to say, oh, it was the most amazing deal of the century, blah, blah, blah. And the Chinese are going to say, oh, it was like, okay, but we still have reservations. Markets are going to drop 400 points. But in between, this was the ultimate buying points that I told you guys to buy it. Last Thursday, I did. And now we have 2967 on the S&P 500. Best case scenario, pattern completion. Don't overthink this, guys. Don't overthink. This is pretty much what's going to happen. Not analysis, analysis, okay? Seriously. And even if we come down a little bit like this and that, we are going to go to 29.67. And I believe we will probably go there, but this is still a low probability event. What does that mean in simple English? This is an outlier. So I would give this a 20% chance that we get there. I would give this, that the fact that we go to 29.67. What did we close at tonight on the S&P 500? 29.38. 29.67 is 30 points higher. That is roughly 240 points. I believe we get there by either tomorrow, yeah, I'll say that, or by Monday or Tuesday. Now, some of you love to trade sexy stocks. Oh, I want to get Netflix and stuff. And I told the person who got into Netflix, I think you're not ready to trade those type of stocks. It's like going from driving a Toyota Camry to driving a Koenigsegg or a Lamborghini Huracan or a Murcielago or a McLaren, like whatever. Okay, what are you gonna do? You're like, ow, I just got all this money, let me buy the car. You're gonna wrap yourself around a tree and you're done. I mean, hopefully you're not dead, but the car's done. So your $600,000 car or $1.2 million car is gone. So it's the same thing. Some stocks you have to test a little bit. So you put a little bit around. Apple is steady. Netflix is a highly dramatic stock. Amazon is steady. Shopify is a very dramatic stock. Nvidia is steady. Micron is steady. AT&T is amazingly steady, and you're going to make crap loads of money if you have discipline. MPC, Marathon Petroleum, is completely steady. You're going to make a lot of money on it a couple of months from now, a month from now. Target is steady. Google, it's like driving a McLaren or a Ferrari. So you have to know Microsoft is steady. You want to know the details of how you need to basically separate out the hardcore Lamborghinis from driving a steady, powerful car, which doesn't cost $5,000 every time you go for an oil change. Then sign up for the advanced coaching sessions. Dead serious, because I can't spend all my night here explaining all that to you. I do enough of that on my Twitter feed. So I told the person who asked me about the Netflix thing, go buy MPC, go buy Marathon Petroleum. Just play the clean market, SPY, IWM, QQQ. And the wacky ones are the biotech stocks that'll give you a 400% on your money or be down most of the days like 20%. Like AIMT, autoimmune, the world's only peanut allergy stuff. And there are steady other stocks, but within a range. United Health, Humana, Medco, I love medicines company. Anthem Health. So anyway, let me get back to this. So the bottom line is one with the other, in between this and this. We might get this. I hope not. We're going to get here. Now, whether or not we get up to the 3,000 level, I have no idea. That's all. Now, in the meantime, you want to go know exact details of how things are going to work and stuff, then go spend some time. Even, I don't care how busy you are, because I'm more busier than any of you out there. I'm self-employed. I'm an independent quant trader. I spend 14 hours a day, almost, working on my craft, and a good portion of the day helping all of you all. Okay? So nobody can say, oh, I'm too busy. So I'm going to show you a couple of things here, and I'm going to wrap this up. You want individual stocks? Go to my Twitter feed. But Dominic, because you're the one here right now, what stock would you like to look at? Please go ahead. Don't think. Tell me a stock. I'll make it simple. It's tell me a stock you own.
I own a lot of AIMT.
Okay, I've explained about AIMT.
I know you have.
No, I know, and I'll explain it again. That's my job, so don't take it the wrong way. This is a chart which is not like a usual chart. Let me draw this out for you. This looks to me like a nice fat cup and handle. We are creating the handle, and the stock is going to go somewhere around 28. And if they get that final approval for the peanut and the nut allergy, which afflicts a lot of kids, thank God it didn't afflict my son when he was growing up. It's a very serious stuff, very serious. It can kill you. Then the stock literally is going to go to 36. Do I see technically anything from a technical standpoint? Because I'm not a biotech specialist. I've done we have had 4 biotech buyouts in the past 3 years on stocks I've recommended. If you look at the chart, I'm going to ask you, does this was the disappointing part. We were here, then the stock just went berserk on that first initial FDA approval, or I would say whatever they call it, AdCom thing. The stock ran up, and there was a huge sell program. Don't ask me. I hated it. There was some big hedge fund. The minute the stock hit around 27, they started selling. You remember that, right?
I do.
So then we started buying here. What I like about it, the options are cheap. Then think about the logistics. It's like taking your regular Ford truck to the shop. They give you a $200 bill to fix this and that. You take your Range Rover Supercharged, and they give you a $1,000 bill. Well, I'd rather have the options, which are cheaper. The strong Ford truck. So this is the same way. I like the cheap options. October and November. So let me ask you this question. Maybe other people who are in it will understand. When you look at this particular pattern, since it bottomed here, from a candlestick perspective, what does it look like to you? And I'm just asking a single opinion. I don't know. I'm asking, whether you.
No, it's definitely going up. That's a bull flag.
It is actually not a bull flag, just so you know.
Okay.
A bull flag is this.
Okay.
Like Frank the Tank, Frank the Flag. This is what a bull flag looks like. Okay. So this is not a bull flag. What it's doing, it is creating a cup.
Okay.
Yeah, just explaining. And this is going to help a lot of other people. It's creating a cup. What I like is the shape of the candles. They are nice, bullish. Today was a very bullish engulfing candle. You see that?
I did.
You see, I live and breathe candles. And all of you, believe me, I self-taught myself. And there's great, amazing people on YouTube who teach candlestick dynamics. I mean, these guys are like wizards. But I don't live in one cave called candles. I don't live in a cave which says, oh, just like the candles. I look at a lot of different things. But candlesticks are very important. They give you far more messaging than any other thing out there. Here are the things I like about AIMT, other than their fundamental basis, why I like it, which I gave you a little idea, and do your own due diligence on the company and why it's such a great company, a great American company. One, make it simple. I love the candle structures. They are nice, fat, green candles. I like this, the stochastics. I like this. Somebody says, well, how the hell can you like this? Well, I like it because whatever hedge fund was who blew out of it after buying the stock all the way at 20 and they sold almost 50% higher or 80% higher, this is called the capitulation candle. Once you get a candle like that, that means whoever wants to sell is out. So if I know whoever wants to sell is out, then at least I know that the real big sellers are not there anymore. The stock is 28% shorted. I put that out. Did you see that, Dominic?
I did, yep.
I actually put that out thanks to you because you asked me, is it a short squeeze? And I want other members to ask me once in a while a question. And if I have time, I'll take a look at it. He asked me, so I went on FinWiz. Now, I don't know how updated that number is, but 27% shorted. Whoa! That makes ROKU look like baby food. The stock could be up $15 in one day. Yes. Understand the power of short squeezes. You see sometimes stocks up 30%. You think it's all like because everybody bought it the day before. No, it's because all the big smart money idiots who are short the stock got squeezed. And nothing is more beautiful than that. Google is not heavily shorted. Apple is not heavily shorted. Shopify was heavily shorted. Microsoft is everybody, the mothers like them. That's why it keeps on going higher. But you want a real huge move, you got to bet on the odds. You got to bet on the loser. Okay?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Anyone who's a gambler, there's a lot of gamblers out there many of you are betting on horses or doing this or going up to Atlantic City or Vegas and this and that. I'm the worst at that. I just love having a nice drink sitting there, watching my brother-in-law, who's a big shot guy, Canadian guy, play poker, with all the heavy rollers, most of them Chinese, by the way, and he wins. It's very smart. And I'm just like yawning and just having my drink. Hey man, I just want to go out there, get some fresh air, look at that beautiful sky. I can't do that stuff. I do this stuff well. So guys, apply the same principles on this. Bet on the ones with what's the word, Dominic? With the highest handicap, right?
Oh yeah.
Exactly. That's it. Use the same principle. Many of you play fantasy football. One of my best members who were with us for many, many years. Great guy. Still in touch with him. He's like, I'm really busy with fantasy football. Okay, great. So I'm going to take a time off from trading. He never spent any time on trading. Never wanted to learn anything because he was busy gambling. So gamble here, because the difference between gambling, I'm not talking AIMT, and options gambling. Options is gambling. But here's the difference: quantified gambling. We actually have something where we can quantify what our risks are. The rest of the other gambling that many of you do, you have no quantifiable risk. You could just go. You like the sound effect? Okay, that's the way it is. All right. So I actually like this. No, I'm dead serious, right? So Vegas takes 80%. The house keeps 80%. They give 20% to keep people happy, so they keep coming back. Wall Street, same gambling casino, except it's more like 60-40. The house will keep 60, you get 40. So if you play your cards right off all these amazing tactical charts and stuff, you'll actually beat the house. And Wall Street is a great place because when the house, which is all the big investment banks and everyone, controls the U.S. markets, say they love something, it actually goes up. So the house makes money and you make money. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's
I
the
do.
difference. That's the difference between many of you who are out there playing fantasy sports and what's it called, DraftKings, and the multi-billion-dollar business. Try to learn a little bit. You make shitloads of money doing this. So this we like. And these are real companies. These are things that make America great. You think gambling makes America great? Does pot make America great? I don't think so. Yeah, it makes a lot of money. And the states tax them and they make a lot of money. But do you think getting stoned makes America great? You think gambling on a football makes America great? No. The Google engineer from here in the US or from India or sometimes from China or wherever, working their ass out, getting loans to finish their computer engineering degree from college. That's what America great. So enough of this garbage that I hear all the time. You think tailgating makes America great? No, it's a culture thing. Okay, that's fine. You think drinking beer and getting completely drunk and stoned and taking meth makes America great? No, I don't think so. Brains make America great. Sorry, I'm being passionate, but seriously, pisses the crap out of me when I hear all this garbage out there. So let's look at this. Learn this profession, that will make America great, because the U.S. financial markets make America great. Because without our financial markets, we'd be another third world bullshit. We're not. We're first world because of our brains. Think before you go to sleep. I like this. I like this. And most importantly, deep down, and this is we're reading the internal health readings, the blood thing. I like this, Dominic. I like this a lot. Somewhere in there, somebody's buying the crap out of the stock. Do you understand what I'm saying? And if we do
Yeah.
get a acceleration on the MACD histograms, and look, the stock is frustrating. Yeah, it goes up, but I like the cup formation happening. Now, once it gets here around 28, most probably you're going to, this is a big downtrend line coming back from the top. So we probably get a quick pullback. But remember one thing about biotechs, which I've told everybody, is they're weird. So the patterns have to be understood a little bit more. It takes a little bit more work. So I'm giving you the work. I like this. I like this. The volume is drying out. I don't like that. I need a high green bar here. But I like the candlesticks. Another stock you might want to look at. How about I give you Netflix? Whoa. So scary.
Well, that was a
Netflix.
high stock, huh?
A what?
That was up there, man.
Yeah. So this is what the way I'm looking at it. And I don't blame anybody for blading out of Netflix and this and that, saying, oh, you didn't watch my charts. But Netflix is tricky because you're getting a barrage of negative information coming out from some of the so-called smartest people in the world. But you know what we say, like Donald Trump would say, our president would say, Donald, we don't give a shit. And we don't. Because what we give a crap about is the fact that I told you guys this was a macro falling wedge. Now, I know, Mona, if you said, oh, I do understand. Yes, I do. Okay, great. If you do understand, then listen to this very carefully. What the heck is happening here on these macro falling wedges? The same thing. I bet you if you go back to, what date was this? Listen carefully, all of you, because this could make you, well, a lot of my trades could make you rich if you guys actually acted on it. And I'm sure many of you do. This was back on September 24th, 2018. Same stuff. I bet you if you read the news and the analyst reviews, they all said, oh, it's all over Netflix. Yeah, nobody's watching it, blah, blah, blah. You know, they're all over. Disney's coming up with stuff. Disney deals with Mickey and Minnie. Netflix deals with hardcore shows like Dope. Have you ever seen that? I actually came across that. Dope.
I never watched it.
It fucking blew my mind. It is an ultimate documentary on our hardcore police forces and law enforcement, but it shows the angle. Just one example of it, not to mention all these great shows I've watched on Netflix over the past. I paid for Netflix for 12 years. I finally started watching it 2 years ago, just all of you know, okay? And my Netflix bench time is after I get done with all this, take my dogs for a walk, lie down in bed, 2 hours. Dope is all about showing the perspective of hardcore drug dealers and the enforcement officers, the police and the DEA and all that stuff who are against it. But it shows both perspectives, opens your mind up on every major city in the US. Why is there so much drug dealing? Because they're selling drugs to dogs? No, they're selling drugs to everybody who makes $1 billion a year and people making nothing. We have a drug problem. And as long as there is demand, there is going to be supply, right? So Netflix shows that. Can't just say, don't do drugs. I don't do drugs. Yeah, I have a couple of drinks here and there. Many of you smoke a lot of pot. Great. Whoopee. Great. You're doing drugs. So bottom line is, falling wedge, gone. Will this happen? I have no idea. There's a probability? Yes. I don't care what Goldman says, or Morgan Stanley says, and every piss analyst says, because they've always been wrong. Now, if it breaks, it's going to go to 223, 220. Netflix international expansion is probably going to be pretty big. And I've continuously given powerful Netflix trades. Now, what happened here? And I mentioned this earlier, but Dominic, just remind people, this is a very, very long-term uptrend line. What happened here?
Crossed it.
Yes. What we say in technical analysis, we had a breakout over that downtrend line and what we call re-entry over the downtrend line. These are powerful things. So best case scenario, we go to around 300 because that's where the stock fell apart. Worst case scenario, we go to 240. And what's this huge downtrend line? One sec. 231. So question is, place your bet. Going into Netflix earnings, the stock probably will go higher. If it hits 300, that means the stock is fully valued going to earnings. And it might very well do that. But on earnings, we're going to play a straddle. We're going to buy, you know what a straddle is. You buy puts and calls, or you can do a spread. You can sell a put, sell a call, whatever. I'll explain all that when we come close to it. But look at the bigger picture. Every analyst from my old neighborhood on Wall Street, and including now, back in 2018, said the same crap. Netflix is over. They're saying the same crap right now. Don't have to be a technical analyst. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but who knows? This could happen. On that note, God bless you all. Gotta go. Dominic,
Like-
thanks for participating. Your questions, people should thank you for it. We're going higher for now. President Trump is pulling. He's finally showing everybody that he's a deal maker in a big way. The Chinese are here. I said this weeks ago. They didn't come all the way here to get slapped on the face. Use your common sense, all of you out there. Stop being so dogmatic and thinking that the U.S. economy and the U.S. markets are always going to fall. It doesn't work like that. If you believe in America, believe in our economic system. Yes, a lot of risks, a lot of money being made. So while you're sitting there losing money by not making money, in other words, taking positions, think about it for a minute. You're going to keep on doing this? I'm here to help. Love you all. Good night.